Imagine waking up one day and feeling a strange tingling in your feet. At first, you brush it off. Maybe you slept in a weird position. Maybe you're just tired. But then the tingling turns into burning. The burning turns into numbness. And one day you realize you can't feel the floor properly when you walk. Your balance is off. Your hands feel weak. Your life slowly starts shrinking, and you don't even know why. Now here's the scary part. What if I told you this damage might not be coming from aging, genetics, or bad luck, but from a silent poison you're probably exposed to every single day? A poison so common that most people don't even question it, and doctors are now warning that this one thing is quietly destroying nerves and triggering neuropathy in millions of people around the world. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you may see your daily habits very differently. Let's talk about neuropathy for a moment, because a lot of people hear the word but don't really understand what it means. Neuropathy is damage to your nerves. These nerves are like electrical wires running throughout your body. They control movement, sensation, balance, digestion, heart rate, even how your organs communicate with your brain. When these nerves are healthy, signals travel smoothly. You move without thinking. You feel heat, cold, pain, and touch the way you should. But when nerves are damaged, those signals become distorted or blocked. That's when symptoms start appearing. Tingling, pins and needles, burning pain, numbness, weakness, sensitivity to touch, muscle cramps, loss of coordination, and in severe cases, complete loss of sensation. Many people assume neuropathy only happens to diabetics or the elderly. That's not true. Doctors are seeing younger and younger patients with nerve damage, people in their 30s, even their 20s. And the most disturbing part is that many of them have no idea what's causing it. They go from doctor to doctor, get blood tests, scans, medications, but the root cause keeps getting missed because the poison isn't something dramatic. It's not something you'd expect. It's something that's been normalized in modern life. The poison I'm talking about is chronic excess sugar. Not just the obvious sugar like candy and soda, but the hidden, constant overload of sugar and refined carbohydrates that flood your nervous system day after day. Doctors are now warning that sugar is one of the most damaging substances for nerve health when consumed regularly over time. And no, this isn't about scaring you or saying you can never enjoy food again. This is about understanding what's really happening inside your body. When you eat sugar, your blood glucose levels rise. Your body releases insulin to bring that sugar into your cells so it can be used for energy. That system works beautifully when sugar intake is low and occasional. The problem begins when sugar becomes constant. Sweet drinks, processed foods, white bread, pastries, sauces, snacks, cereals, even foods marketed as healthy. Your blood sugar stays elevated for long periods, and your insulin system becomes stressed. Over time, this leads to insulin resistance, inflammation, and oxidative stress, and nerves are extremely sensitive to all three. Nerves depend on tiny blood vessels to supply them with oxygen and nutrients. Excess sugar damages these small vessels first. The walls become stiff and inflamed. Blood flow decreases. Nerves start starving. At the same time, high sugar levels directly damage nerve fibers through a process called glycation. Sugar molecules stick to proteins and fats in your body, forming harmful compounds that interfere with nerve signaling and repair. Doctors often describe it like rust forming on electrical wires. The signals get weak, erratic, or completely cut off. This is why neuropathy is so common in diabetes, but here's what many people don't realize. You don't need to have diabetes to experience sugar-induced nerve damage. Prediabetes, insulin resistance, and even frequent blood sugar spikes can slowly injure nerves long before any official diagnosis is made. Many people are walking around with nerve damage years before they're told their blood sugar is too high. And sugar doesn't work alone. It teams up with another modern enemy, chronic inflammation. Excess sugar fuels inflammation throughout the body. Inflamed nerves become hypersensitive at first, causing burning and pain. Over time, that inflammation kills nerve endings, leading to numbness and weakness. This is why some people experience intense pain early on, then later lose sensation completely. Doctors warn that once nerves are severely damaged, they may never fully recover. Let me paint a picture you might recognize. You sit down in the evening, kick off your shoes, and your feet feel like they're buzzing, almost electric. Sometimes it feels like ants crawling under your skin. Other times, it's a deep burning sensation that makes it hard to sleep. Or maybe your hands go numb when you hold your phone. Maybe you drop things more often. These aren't just random annoyances. These are early warning signs. Your nerves are crying out for help. What makes sugar such a dangerous poison is how sneaky it is. You might think, I don't eat that much sugar. But then you look closer. Breakfast cereal, flavored yogurt, coffee creamer, bread, ketchup, energy drinks, fruit juice, protein bars. Even so-called low-fat foods are often loaded with sugar to make them taste better. You may not be eating dessert all day, but your nervous system is still being bathed in glucose from morning until night. Doctors are also concerned about how sugar depletes essential nutrients needed for nerve health. High sugar intake increases the excretion of vitamins like B1, B6, and B12, which are critical for nerve repair and function. A deficiency in these vitamins alone can cause neuropathy-like symptoms. So sugar doesn't just damage nerves directly, it also robs them of the tools they need to heal. Now here's where things get even more serious. Neuropathy doesn't just affect sensation. It can affect autonomic nerves, which control automatic functions like heart rate, digestion, blood pressure, and sweating. Some people experience dizziness when standing up. Others have digestive problems, constipation, or diarrhea. Some notice abnormal sweating or trouble regulating body temperature. These symptoms are often brushed off as unrelated issues, but they can all trace back to nerve damage driven by metabolic stress from excess sugar. Doctors are sounding the alarm because neuropathy is often irreversible once it reaches a certain point. Medications may dull the pain, but they don't fix the underlying damage. That's why prevention and early action are so critical. And that's why understanding this worst poison matters so much. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. I want to be very clear here. Sugar is not evil in isolation. The problem is chronic exposure in a modern environment where movement is low, stress is high, and processed foods are everywhere. Our bodies were not designed to handle constant sugar intake. Our nervous systems pay the price. Now, if you're listening to this and feeling worried, take a breath. Knowledge is power. The beautiful thing about nerve health is that early damage can often be slowed, stopped, or even partially reversed when the stressors are removed. Doctors emphasize that stabilizing blood sugar is one of the most powerful ways to protect your nerves. When blood sugar levels stay steady, inflammation goes down, blood flow improves, nutrient delivery increases, nerves finally get a chance to repair. People who reduce added sugars often report less tingling, improved sensation, better balance, and reduced pain over time. Sleep improves, energy improves, mood improves. Because your nervous system doesn't operate in isolation, it's connected to everything. Another important point doctors make is that sugar often comes with refined carbohydrates that act almost the same way in the body. White bread, white rice, pastries, and ultra-processed snacks quickly break down into glucose. To your nerves, there's not much difference between a sugary drink and a refined carb-heavy meal. Both create spikes that cause damage over time. This is why many people are shocked when they develop neuropathy despite never eating candy or drinking soda. It's the total load that matters. It's the daily pattern, not the occasional treat. And let's talk about something emotional for a moment. Neuropathy can be isolating. People feel misunderstood. Pain that others can't see is often dismissed. Numbness doesn't sound serious until you experience it. Doctors warn that ignoring early symptoms can lead to falls, injuries, infections, and loss of independence later in life. This isn't just about discomfort. It's about quality of life. I've spoken to people who wish someone had warned them earlier. They say, if I had known this could happen, I would have changed my habits sooner. That's why this message matters, not to shame, not to scare, but to inform. Your nerves are incredibly resilient when given the right environment. They need stable blood sugar, proper nutrients, good circulation, and reduced inflammation. Removing the constant poison of excess sugar is one of the most impactful steps you can take. As you listen to this, I want you to reflect honestly, not with guilt, but with curiosity. How often are you consuming sugar or refined carbs? How often are you spiking your blood sugar without realizing it? Have you noticed subtle symptoms that you've been ignoring? Tingling, burning, numbness, weakness, balance issues. These are not things to brush off. Doctors aren't saying sugar is the only cause of neuropathy. There are many causes, but they are saying it's one of the most common, preventable, and overlooked contributors. And that's what makes it so dangerous. Imagine protecting your nerves the same way you protect your heart. You wouldn't ignore high blood pressure for years. You wouldn't ignore warning signs of heart disease. Your nervous system deserves the same respect, because without healthy nerves, everything else suffers. If this message resonates with you, let it be a turning point. Awareness is the first step. Small changes, done consistently, can make a massive difference over time. Your nerves are listening to what you feed them every single day. And remember this, the most dangerous poisons are rarely the ones that cause immediate harm. They're the ones that work slowly, quietly, and consistently until one day the damage is impossible to ignore. Excess sugar fits that description perfectly. Take care of your nerves, protect them now, not later. Because once sensation is gone, once damage is done, the cost is far higher than any temporary pleasure from sweet convenience. Your future self will thank you for paying attention today.